Welcome to Keeping Tabs. I'm Tabitha Crock, and every Monday we talk to a different community member here in North Idaho. And then we end our weeks with something I'm passionate about, the adventures, outdoors, and sports. So follow along to hear some amazing stories and meet some very interesting people. Okay, I have Richard Tilley with Ink Lab with me today, and I am so excited to chat with him. I've been following him on social media for a while now, so now I get to learn about him and his business and how he got started. So thank you for doing this, and I'm so excited to chat with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I can go on forever about all that. But as far as the business, we do screen printing, embroidery, clothing decorations. We have our own line of stuff that we push, but primarily I print for other businesses, local businesses and clothing companies, family reunions, churches, et cetera, et cetera. So
how did this get started?
Well, when I was younger, a buddy of mine came up to me and says, "Hey, you want to start a clothing brand?" And I was probably about 22 at the time, and I'm almost 36 now. But I said, "Yeah, I mean, we're not doing anything. Let's start a clothing brand." So we started designing stuff and just making clothes. It started that way, and then I branched off from that individual and started my own clothing brand. And this was in Southern California, in Riverside. I had a warehouse where I printed all my own stuff, and I would drive out to LA multiple times a week, and I would just try to hawk off my designs to like in the garment district. Yeah. I would go store to store and talk to all the owners, say, "Hey, this is my stuff. Pick up a few, or I'll give it to you on consignment. You pay me back when I come back next week, and then you can have some more." And I did that for a long time, and then I got distracted and pulled into a financial world through debt collections, and I stayed there for about 10 years, and then just recently, less than a year ago, decided to retire from collections and got back into screen printing, and I found my passion again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you moved from California. Are you originally from there?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you moved to Idaho.
Yeah. Well, my wife has family that's lived here for as long as I've been with her. Her and I've been together a little over 10 years. And we would come frequently in the winters. We always came in the winter for some reason. And I don't know. It was just the only time that I had really to myself to take time off of work. So we came every winter, and I think all the stars just aligned, and it worked out perfect that we ended up landing here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess what is your favorite restaurant since you've been up here? So how long have you lived here?
We've been here going on 3 years now.
Awesome.
Just under 3 years. Favorite restaurant. There's one, I think it's called Churchill's in Spokane. I really like, cause out in Southern California, I had Mastro's, I had, Fleming's, Morton's, I had all these great restaurants, these steakhouses that we'd frequent all the time. And we came out here, and they were a little bit more scarce. And so I would just try to find the ones that, that kind of reminded me of those ones out in California. And that one does the best.
Have you been to Wolf Lodge then?
Is that the one that has all the logs in the front part in the parking lot? And it's like they serve you huge portions. Well, yeah, I've been there.
Going out towards like Montana, and it's on the freeway.
Yeah.
And it looks like a log.
Yeah, it's right off on the side. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even remember. It was years ago that I went there, but yeah, I have visited that place. Once.
Like they have the good steaks too, but the Churchill's is a lot nicer.
Yeah, it's just I really like the ambiance. I like when Jenny and I can go out and just conversate. It's like dimly lit, and it's not like going to what's that, Texas Roadhouse, where it's just crazy loud and singing and dancing. It's more like, intimate, and, her and I don't get to do that often. So, when we do, we like it to be that way. We like to set the tone.
And it's great food for sure. Okay. Yeah. A little about you. So tell me, what is one life lesson you learned the hard way?
I think I've learned all of them the hard way, unfortunately. And I'm serious too. I'm so thick-headed sometimes. So I would say, not to get too deep, but living by a code, morals, values, something I wasn't taught early on. My parents, uh, I don't know, maybe they didn't get raised correctly, but they didn't pass on any of that stuff to me or my brothers. So I just lived by however I felt. And sometimes, I didn't make the best choices. So my wife really like taught me what it means to live by a code, to live, you don't break these rules, bend or break or anything. And since doing that, that's my whole life has changed. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great one. So who's your biggest inspiration?
That's a good question. Um, I wouldn't say there's probably one person in particular. I really like Ed Milet. Um, I like his message and I listen to him frequently. I like Andy Frisella. I like Sean Whalen. There's a guy in the screen printing world that I communicate with now named Ryan Moore. Guy's a machine. He's I just, it's just endless with him. And I love the way he thinks. And, he's definitely someone in this industry that I'm in now, to look up to.
Yeah, do you have any of your stuff here locally in stores, or how can people find your gear?
Well, like I said, we print for other businesses. So we're in Post Falls. Uh, I have a plan to spread around a little bit. Won't get too far into that, but we will be in other places soon. And so you can just come by the store here on Celtice, between McGuire and Pleasant View.
Okay.
And, as far as our brand, inklabsps.com, that's where we sell like our merchandise and stuff.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question was, is
Yeah.
there projects or things you're obviously you're a dreamer, you think big, which is awesome. I've watched a couple of your other podcasts with other people and things, and your story is amazing of what your life has gone through. So yeah, do you have any projects that you can say?
Yeah. So I was working on this commercial. I hired this guy and we went to different businesses that are clients of ours, and we filmed them in their we kind of stepped in at times where they were busy so that we could film while they were busy in the clothing that we made for them. And I was working on this commercial that I really wanted to broadcast. I really wanted to spread influence on this. And um, I don't know what happened with this guy. He something happened with him personally, and he checked out. And so I can't even get my footage from him to be able to send to somebody else to edit.
Yeah.
And so right now that stuff's in a chokehold. But what I'm doing right now is working with a food truck, Las Brasas. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. Okay, Ivan.
Huge fan.
Okay, so Ivan was one of the very first people that gave us a shot and kind of just with open arms just introduced me to people. And because I didn't know anybody in the community a year ago. I was in my own world and, just like anybody else. And so I wasn't connected with business owners or anything like that. So he gave me my first chance. And so with him, I have side projects I work with him. So right now we're working on a design where it's going to be like an Ink Lab / Las Brasas design that we're going to give a t-shirt out with this meal that you order specifically. And we're kind of just collaborating. And so I'm doing stuff. Like I said, I can't say too much about everything I'm doing, but that's, that's a little sample of what I'm doing.
Oh, that's exciting that you have so many great, I guess, projects that you're excited to put out.
I know. I wish I could say more, but thing is they're unique to the industry. So I don't want someone to jump ahead of me before I get an opportunity to unveil what I have in my mind.
because it can spark someone interest that knows somebody that can speed things
Well,
up.
I'm a competitive dude, and I just have ideas that I know will conquer. I'll dominate my sector 100% with what I have in mind and what I plan to roll out. But it's just I don't want someone else to kind of catch wind of what I'm doing before I get a chance to do it. So
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
understand completely. So outside of doing some great things and working really hard, what are some of your favorite hobbies or things you love to do?
Well, I love my kiddos like a
Mhm.
super lot. Um, I I love spending every chance I can with them, getting to know them individually and as a group. I have 3 daughters.
Oh,
Um,
right.
yeah, so they're all eccentric. They're all unique in their own way, and I love cultivating, their interests. Whatever they love to do, I love to just feed that. One of my daughters is extremely into space. Um, and so we reached out to NASA so we can try to figure out what reverse engineer what she needs to do to be in a specific position that she was looking to be in NASA. So we called them, and I do stuff like that with all of them. So whatever their interests are, we're all in, whatever it may be, and I want them to shoot for the stars.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. And
So that and like skateboarding, I like weight
oh,
training, you
yeah.
know, reading a lot. I love to read. Um, uh, I like helping other people who are stuck, like I was at one point in time in my life where I couldn't see any other way but what was right in front of me. And I see a lot of that with people. So um, I work with people to kind of snap out of it and figure
Yeah.
out where they want to go.
If you don't mind elaborating, maybe tell us a little bit about your background and kind of, I think it's a really cool story you're welcome to share and how you kind of got to where you are today. It's pretty amazing.
Mm, well, how deep are you
I
trying
mean,
to?
we can talk all day if you want, or, just abbreviated version, but I think, coming from adversity to owning a business, a very successful business, and diving into this community that not necessarily is like open arms all the time, but when you're
No,
in,
no.
you're in. You're in.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what it is
yeah.
about this area.
Yeah, I agree. But what I think it is the energies that attract to each other. So, I feel that I can relate to the energies that I feel with the business owners around. And, there's a lot of them that I talk to that we became personal friends, that were clients that are now, that I communicate with on a regular basis, that we motivate each other. I have probably 15 people I text every single morning, 4 a.m. They probably hate it, but I text them hey, I expect you to do your best today. Have a blessed day. And I just like doing stuff like that for my friends and the community and the people out here, they're responsive to that. Some of them haven't been so much, but whatever.
It takes a while.
Um,
It takes a
but
while
I
to
will, I,
up.
well, I don't think I don't think the people are used to someone like me, and they don't know how to react to it. Like, I get it. I'm a lot, like being friends with me. I'm going to expect the best out of you 24/7, and I'm going to push you to do that. And I'm going to be on your neck to make sure you get it done. So I think that some people, they don't like that. So it is
that
what it is with that.
accountability is huge. Um,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you surround yourself with people like that do that. I mean, it makes you
Hmm.
level up, and some people aren't ready for that.
Big time. Yeah. Big. So, there's a young guy that I just kind of brought under my wing. He reminded me he has a lot of the same qualities and characteristics that I had when I was like 25, 24. I owned my screen printing company then, when I was doing my own stuff. And um, I just had these big dreams and big aspirations. And I saw myself, I don't know. It's hard for me to articulate it sometimes, but I saw myself as so much bigger than what I was in that. And I still do, which is weird. But, and I saw a lot of this in him, and I saw him getting trapped in a place where he was surrounding himself with people who were taking from him. They weren't serving him in any way. They were just using drugs around him and alcohol, and he's trying to break free of that to come out of his shell. And so I saw a lot of that, and I said, hey, just come with me, man. Meet me in the mornings at the gym.
Mm.
I'll teach you how to, because he was gaining a lot of weight, living unhealthy, you know, so on and so forth. And that comes with, you know, a bunch of other stuff. But we were focusing on one thing at a time. And his weight was affecting his self-confidence, which is affecting this and this and this and this. So let's start there. So we dropped 17 pounds in like 3 weeks. Yeah, I was like, look, just do what I say. And I do it healthy. I'm not trying to, you know, dehydrate him. And he's drinking a gallon of water a day. So he's definitely hydrated. And so we're doing it the right way. It's just, we took the freeway. I know how to get the freeway to get to what you're trying to get to. So, we did that, and his self-confidence went up. He started doing more things for himself. Then I taught him how to structure his days so that he gets things out of each of the categories that create balance in a human's life. You know, there's 4 categories. It's kind of like 4 legs on a table. If one was missing, a table would top over. So we focused on his body, we focused on his mind, we focused on his relationships, and then we focused on his business. And so we started what I call eating the elephant. We just started bits and pieces, one bite at a time, just eat the elephant in every single one of those categories. And then I just watched him elevate within less than a month. You know, the universe separated him from the situation that he was in. The people kicked him out of the house that he was in because he wasn't living the same way that they were living. And I told him that was a blessing. Like, thank God that happened, man. And now he has his own place. And I said, look, here's your chance to build your life the way that you want it, instead of just letting the universe throw anything at you.
Yeah.
So that's one example of, you know, a guy that's doing what he actually accepted that, you know, and I like that about him, is that he was willing to accept it. And, you know, he messed up a couple times, and I never gave him a hard time. I said, look, you can look at the situation. Let's say he drank the night before when he knew he shouldn't have. Wake up the next day, instead of me berating him with how lazy or how lame he is, or, you know, I said, look at the situation. If you felt like you did anything wrong, then just make the necessary adjustments. Don't beat yourself up about it. Don't let it drag on into your next day. Just accept it. And if you felt you did something wrong, don't do that anymore, and you'll be good, man. So
yeah, that's amazing.
he's converted into a whole new human. I love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, here
It fills my heart, because I was so evil before, you know.
Yeah, it sounds
crazy.
like you have a heart for helping people, and connecting with those that you know can share some of those common things with. What is one piece of advice you would give a younger you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. That's actually an awesome question. I would say learn to develop rituals and habits that serve you. And the first one would be discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have discipline when I was younger. Like I said, I didn't grow up with any values or any morals, or literally none. I was just, my story would trip you out. So, developing discipline is the foundation to being able to do anything else, you know, because everything else that you want to do requires daily work. And to be able to do that daily work, you have to have the discipline behind it. So I think that would be the one thing I would tell myself. Yo, Richard, get some discipline, bro.
That's perfect. I know. Too,
yeah.
I'm going to have you back on so that we can talk more about your story. And 2 is I might need you to text me in the mornings. I love that you do that to your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. You could text me or send me your number, you know, through Instagram or whatever. And yeah, and you know, I talked about it before in other podcasts, is once I learned how to master my energy, everything else that I wanted just fell into place. You know, like the universe just gave it to me, you know. And again, there's so many things I could tell you that you're gonna think I'm a wizard. Like law of attraction, that's huge with me. I manifest so many things just by thinking about it and dreaming about it and looking at it and getting familiar with things, and all of a sudden I have it. It's
amazing.
It's so insane. People think I'm a weirdo.
No, I think it's great. Well, it sounds like you're really starting to dive into Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Spokane, and giving back and being a part of our community. How can we help you and support you right now?
Wow. I might have to think on that for a second. You know, it's actually more the other way around is how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I don't want anything from Coeur d'Alene or Post Falls. What can I give you guys is more of where my mind's at, you know. I don't want to take anything. I've taken too much from the universe for too long. I'm here to literally, I want to give back to people and help them. You know, when they have a brand that they need help with, let me help you push it. You know, let me show you what I know, the tools that I have, resources that I have, and let me help you. You know, that's more of where my interest is.
Wow. Thank you so much for taking time and chatting with us. Leave us with one piece of positive advice to go into the rest of our week.
um, I would say do something for yourself. I think a lot of people don't do enough of that. And, it creates a lot of unhappiness and low self-esteem. Do something for you. Schedule a time, even every day or even twice a week. Do something for yourself, for your own mind. And I think that everything else will see the results of that once you start doing things for yourself and you get happy.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me today.
Yeah, absolutely.